Hey guys, and welcome back to the HellfireComms Ghiblithon. We were taking things easy yesterday with my neighbour Totoro, and I'm feeling in the mood for something relatively low speed, comfy, as it were. So, continuing with that train of thought, today we're going to be taking a look at Kiki's delivery service. Now, I know from experience that Rich, maybe it's too much of a thing to say he's not fond of the film, but I don't think it's one of your favourites, is it?
Definitely not. It's very middle tier Ghibli for me, anyway.
So basically you'd give it a C, something like that?
Effectively, yeah.
Well, we do grade these things at the end based on our, personal enjoyment with the film rather than objective, filmmaking quality, but we'll see if Richie's opinion has changed by the end of the flick. Everything you guys will need to sync up our commentary to whatever video you're using. Instructions and the like can be found in the video description below. Give that a look if you're confused. Otherwise, we're going to get right on with it. In 3, 2, 1. Okie Kiki's delivery service. I know 3 things about this film. Number 1, Kirsten Dunst plays the titular character. Number 2, Phil Hartman, God rest his soul, plays her sidekick, the black cat Gigi. And 3, the climax sort of has a similar problem to Totoro in that it's just drama for the sake of drama in a film that's otherwise mostly going at its own pace, really.
Yeah, you're pretty spot on there. I would argue that Totoro manages to get away with it a bit more, if only because Totoro... I don't quite know how to put it, but Totoro is sort of... It sets up the root of its issues from the beginning,
Right.
Obviously with the mother being in hospital, and the relationship between the two sisters, and so you can sort of see potential problems coming up later down the line.
I get you.
And everything sort of flows into one another, and even though it sort of appears out of nowhere, it makes sense for the narrative.
Right.
With Kiki, it just sort of... the incidents that occur right at the end of the film sort of appear out of nowhere.
Okay, well, we'll leave it at that for now. Don't want to give too much away. So, the story of Kiki's delivery service. It's all about the young witch that we see here turning 13 and going off into the wide world to find her place. And, correct me if I'm wrong, Richie, but witches of this age, they essentially go out into the world to, grow up, become independent, and learn a trade, essentially.
Yeah, basically. So there's the tradition that they leave home for a year on the night of a full moon to pursue their skill through training. I think the idea is that they sort of find what they're good at. So Kiki's mother here, who is called Kokiri, and who is voiced by Katsushi, is basically like an alchemist, so to speak. So she kind of has all of her flowers and is doing stuff in test tubes and making all sorts of wonderful contraptions. I don't know what... I think it's her grandmother. Not 100% sure. This lady here, it might be the senior witch, but once again, I could be incredibly wrong because they haven't said what her name is yet.
It's fine, mate, don't worry about it. So, well, I mean, yeah, alchemy is a branch of witchcraft. They have potions in Harry Potter and whatnot. So I guess a particular witch... Are there wizards in this world?
I don't know. To be honest, I don't think so.
Well, anyway,
Because...
I guess a witch focuses on a particular skill. Like, her mother has alchemy, Kiki could have, charms and such.
Yeah, although I don't quite think that is Kiki's thing, as you will see throughout the course of the film.
Oh, are we gonna have a case of the worst witch?
Sort of not. I think the way that Kiki's delivery service, well, the world of Kiki's delivery service works is that the magic is passed down the female line.
Ah, okay.
Sort of, if you look at, say, Bayonetta, if you look at the crane channeling technique in the Ace Attorney series, it's that sort of stuff where the magic is passed down the female line, and the men just don't get a factor in it.
Okay.
Part of me wonders whether, I think that is a sort of ongoing tradition in the idea of witchcraft, but part of me feels like there must be a particularly strong link with it in Japan, because obviously I've seen it that many times now that it does feel very rooted somewhere in Japanese culture, but I have no idea where that is.
Yeah, Kiki, and just the, like, iconography, I guess is the correct term, of a witch flying on a broomstick. That's a mono myth, sort of, really, isn't it? It's prevalent in both Western and Eastern societies.
Oh yeah, that whole image. I don't know whether I would necessarily call it a monomyth, but it is sort of, yeah. It's an icon that you do see across the globe, and there's not necessarily a reason that they were influenced by each other. They just sort of appeared on their own terms.
Yeah.
At least I think so anyway. There is a slight twist in that tale because Kiki's delivery service is very much based... Well, the place that Kiki's going to go to is very much based in Europe, and so there will be an influence of the European witches in this. But I think there is a certain growth from different roots that have led to the same idea of a witch, and the broomstick, and all that sort of stuff.
Pretty comfy film so far. Hopefully it kicks up into gear once she leaves home. Ooh, I know my Richie-isms, and that does not bode well.
It kicks up a slight gear, but it doesn't really go anywhere that I would say is ridiculously interesting. I'm maybe being perhaps a little bit harsh on the film. I don't know. This era of Ghibli that we've entered is effectively the era of Ghibli that I am least interested in the grand scheme of things.
What does that entail then, like film-wise?
I'm just going to grab up the list now, because it is a very interesting period, because obviously you had the first four, which were very important touchstones. Kiki's delivery service is also an important cultural touchstone for the Ghibli films. But you've got Kiki's delivery service, Only Yesterday, Porco Rosso, Pompoko, and Ocean Waves. And while all of them, bar Pompoko and... well, bar Pompoko were received well, Ocean Waves less so, but that's still in the 80s.
Yeah.
In terms of ranking. It sort of feels like it's the period of Ghibli where they went through a sort of quiet phase with their films. They all sort of sit in this, not necessarily playing it safe, but they all have a slightly muted nature, I suppose, in terms of the excitement of their plots.
Yeah.
And so on. I don't quite know why that is the case. It just seems to be this period between 1989 and 1994. Because after that, they sort of start to pick up again.
Oh, yes.
Because, you've got a 4-year stretch, which is Spirited Away, The Characters, and Howl's Moving Castle. And for me, anyway, that's a very exciting period because, there's two absolute corkers in that. But yeah, for some reason, just this period of Ghibli, not my favourite.
It's kind of weird, like, when Ghibli was going through their down patch, Disney was having their friggin', renaissance, and when Ghibli started to kick back up, that's when the renaissance films started to go downhill a little bit with, like, Pocahontas, etc.
Yeah, but that said, Ghibli then did have a similar sort of dip when Disney were having a bit of a dip as well, because obviously, late 2000s, they had that shift into 3D and it was a little bit bumpy. And that's the period where Ghibli had Tales from Earthsea and Ponyo. Tales from Earthsea being the Ghibli film which is easily the most disliked of the batch. And Ponyo, which just annoyingly pisses me off. So.
Ooh, can't wait for that. Oh, I love a bit of flight montage. I don't know, it's just the feeling of, like, soaring through the air, which is pretty cozy.
Yeah, I had to. I absolutely adore flight scenes in films. Like, it's easily like one of my favourite things that you can have in a film with things that can fly. Like, give me a 3D flight sequence in a film, and I will probably fall in love a little bit.
Yeah, I think I learned that firsthand when we both watched How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh, How to Train Your Dragon and Test Drive. That is still one of my favourite scenes in a film of all time. It's just beautifully done.
Oh, look at this fucking smug Pippi Longstocking bitch over here with her fully fledged witch powers.
I know, it's just like, you just want to sort of cut her... I want to say pigtails, but they're not really pigtails, are they?
There's a lot of neon down there. I'm not trying to imply anything, but yeah, Kiki, let's head on to purer parts.
It's maybe a bit late to do that.
Oh my god.
We've got a storm! To be fair, this is reminding me of my journey home earlier today because thankfully I was in my car, but the heavens opened.
Uh-huh.
And it was just like wind wipers on full blast, and I still can't see properly because it's raining so hard.
Oh, thank God we landed in the one carriage with all the hay. Like, one carriage over it would have been full of nails.
Yeah, she would have been pretty screwed.
Although, would a witch have higher durability than, like, a muggle, for lack of a better word? Because, the Wicked Witch of the West did melt when she got a little cup of water thrown on her.
Yeah, but that's the Wicked Witch of the West. She's a unique case, and I mean, if you believe other variants of that narrative, it was just a ploy to escape the situation.
I see. What I'm basically trying to say is there a film version of Wicked? And if not, or if so, will we do a commentary over it at some point?
So there is not one yet. It has been in development for a very long time, but there is one coming out. I can't remember whether it's coming out December 2018 or whether it's 2019. Actually, I'm just going to double check because it might send me squeeing again because I remember seeing the date and just going, oh my god! Yeah, so it's Christmas 2019.
So it's not been cancelled or anything?
It's not been cancelled, it's still gonna happen, and it's got an official release date now, so 20th of December 2019, and just... I'm so excited but also very terrified because I love Wicked. It's a brilliant musical and it deserves to be done well.
Yeah.
And let's just say that when it comes out, there is going to be the biggest outpouring of excitement and either joy or hatred from the musical theatre community of the world since Les Miserables.
Oh, I liked the film adaptation, the most recent one.
Oh, the film of Les Mis was decent at conveying the story, but it annoyed me because I can't, like, the way they did the songs, I can't actually listen to them properly. It's just like,
I've got 3
not
words
sung
for you,
properly.
Richie, and I'm Javert.
Do not forget my name.
Do not forget me,
Do not forget
24601.
Yes. Because, like, the music of Les Mis is I know, watching Kiki's Delivery Service, we're talking about Les Mis now, but still. The music of Les Mis is stunning. I mean, I still need to actually go see it on stage, but part of the spectacle of that film is the music and this, not the film, this musical is the music and the singing, and the film just doesn't pay that much attention to the actual singing. And so, while the acting's perhaps good, you don't actually want to listen to the songs again because they're not really that nice to listen to.
There's plenty of theatre recordings on YouTube anyway, so.
Exactly.
Man, I love coastal towns. I always use the word comfy to describe atmospheres like this, but there's no better word. It's just very, there's a sense of togetherness, of like familial love throughout the town, and I don't know, just all the architecture and whatnot that goes with it is just breathtaking.
Yeah, I mean, it probably also helps that this is very much based on Europe. And I think, particularly in the UK, we have a very cosy perception of European towns. Obviously like our own, but also like places on the continent.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I have to say, the story behind the creation of Kiki's Delivery Service is actually quite interesting. Because, obviously, it's based on a novel by Aiko Kodano, or Kodono, I think.
Whichever.
And, yeah, I'm always going to slightly mispronounce Japanese words and names, it's just one of those things. But in 1987, Group Fudosha asked Kodono's publishers for the rights to adapt the novel into a feature film directed by either Hayao Miyazaki or Isao Takahata of Studio Ghibli. At the time, both of those directors were busy, working on My Neighbor Totoro and Grave of the Fireflies, respectively. But Miyazaki accepted the role of, it's just like, this is why you don't go to a city when you don't know what a city is.
Or how to fly a broom properly.
Yeah, because that's just stupid. Anyway, Miyazaki accepted the role of producer while they were searching for a director. And near the end of Totoro's production, members of Ghibli were being recruited as senior staff for Kiki's Delivery Service. The character design position was given to Katsuya Kondo, who was working with Miyazaki on Totoro, and Hiroshi Ono, who would later work on projects such as Jinro, was hired as art director at the request of Kazuo Oga. Miyazaki initially chose Sunao Katabuchi as director, because Katabuchi had worked with Miyazaki on Sherlock Hound, and Kiki's Delivery Service was originally going to be his directorial debut, but that ultimately didn't happen. Ghibli hired Nobuyuki Ishiki as a scriptwriter, but Miyazaki was dissatisfied by the first draft, finding it too dry and too divergent from his own vision for the film. So, since the novel was based in a fictional country in Northern Europe, Miyazaki and the senior staff went to research landscapes and other elements of the setting, with their main stops being Stockholm and the Swedish island of Gotland. So they are obviously the main visual influences for the place where Kiki is. Upon their return to Japan, Miyazaki and the creative team worked on conceptual art, character designs, so on, and Miyazaki began significantly modifying the story, creating new ideas and changing existing ones. Because Majo no Takyubin, which is the original children's book by Kodono, is very different from the film that is released here, because Kodono's novel is much more episodic, consisting of small stories about various people and incidents that Kiki encounters while making deliveries, which Kiki overcomes those challenges just based on her good heart, and manages to just make more friends and faces no particular traumas or crises. But obviously, because this is a film, and it's a more realistic feeling, Kiki, in Miyazaki's own words, will suffer stronger setbacks and loneliness than in the original. Initially, Kodono was unhappy with the changes that had been made between the book and the film, to the point that the project was in danger of being shelved at the screenplay stage. But Miyazaki and Toshio Suzuki, the producer of Ghibli, went to the author's home and invited her to the film studio, and after her visit to the studio, Kodono decided to let the project continue.
Oh, how nice of her.
I know. After it's very much reminding me of Mary Poppins, P.L. Travis and Disney, because if ever you've watched Saving Mr. Banks, which I would recommend you do because it's a wonderful film.
Still haven't yet, need to.
Oh, for God's sake, go watch it.
Movie night.
Yes, because is another fascinating story of a writer getting quite involved in the film production process, more so than I think Kodono was, and wanting to put the brakes on the project. Ultimately, I would say that Kodono ended up coming out of it a lot better than Travers did, because the success of Kiki's Delivery Service led to her writing more books in the Kiki's Delivery Service
that's great.
series, so to speak. But what's quite funny as well is that, so Miyazaki finished his rough draft of the screenplay in 1988, in June, and presented it in July 1988. And it was at that time that Miyazaki revealed that he'd decided to direct the film, since he'd influenced the project so much
Might as well
over the course of it. Yeah, exactly. Something else that's kind of quite funny is the word takyubin, which is literally just home fast mail, in the Japanese title is a trademark of Yamato Transport, though it is used today as a synonym for takuhaibin, which is home delivery mail. The company not only approved the use of its trademark, though its permission was not required under Japanese trademark laws, but also enthusiastically sponsored the film, as the company uses a stylized depiction of a black mother cat carrying her kitten as its corporate logo.
Aww.
So that's actually quite a nice bit of synergy, and that actually works out quite well, I feel.
I see where this is going. Kiki's gonna have her first delivery, and it's a dummy, or a pacifier if you're American.
Let's just stick with the Britishisms, please, because dummy sounds so much nicer than pacifier.
Is she pregnant?
Yes, she's very heavily pregnant.
Thank God, I didn't want to call, you know what I'm saying.
I know entirely, and I think you'll feel even more awful when you realise that that lady, Asono, is voiced by Tress MacNeille.
Oh, well, I don't really feel anything regarding that fact. Well, hooray, the baby has been pacified! Oh, bakeries. I remember when I used to actually go out. I used to love going by the bakery in Asda and smelling all the fresh bread being, baked and whatnot.
Yeah, good bakery is always nice. Although, to be fair, I'd mostly just be going for the cakes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Halloween is coming up, mate. You're allowed to have all the sweet treats that you like.
Well, yeah, but I probably shouldn't, because I did break a tooth the other day. I blame my last dentist, because I had it happen before. I had a filling in a tooth, and then just bit down into something completely innocuous. The first time it was actually something really hard, this time it was not. I think there must have been a fracture, because, yeah, the tooth just went.
Damn.
So I've got to have another filling there to go over the top of it. It's just like, oh, for God's sake. So I should probably actually be good, even though at the minute I'm not. I'm having lots of chocolate bars because I need the sugar.
You're hard worker,
it's really
mate.
bad for me, and I shouldn't.
It's fine. That was a thrilling, filling story, but tish. Okay, I guess we found Kiki's home for the story.
Basically, yes.
I kind of knew she delivered baked goods. You know, you watch a few videos on YouTube, and you come across videos of delivering bread and whatnot.
Yeah, and also, the film's called Kiki's Delivery Service, so you kind of know that at some point she's going to have a delivery service.
Maybe when the city modernises a little bit, she can deliver pizzas and whatnot. And there you go.
Yeah, I have to say, she's a very kindly lady, this one.
She is, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I suppose when you're pregnant and you're running a bakery, you're kind of just like, well, to be fair, kind of will take all the help I can get because this baby's coming out soon and I'm not going to want to do anything.
I gotta say, even though this room is in need of a good clean-up, the bakery and just the house in general does seem pretty nice.
Oh, definitely. It's a lovely, cosy little place.
Word of the month.
And also, Kiki's a witch, so hopefully, she can click her fingers and sort this shit out.
Question, Richard.
Yes.
Did you grow up watching the Nickelodeon live-action show Sabrina the Teenage Witch?
Oh, yes, of course I did.
I don't know, just you saying clicking your fingers reminded me of pointing the finger, and that's how they did magic there. And, yeah, there was also a black cat in that. The godly, most based of black cats, Salem Saberhagen. Not unlike Gigi in this film, actually.
Yes, although I would say that Salem was much more maniacal and slightly crazy.
Well, that's why he was turned into a black cat.
Yeah, that is true, yeah. Whereas Gigi's just very deadpan and sarcastic and sardonic. And to be fair, I sort of feel like at times Gigi is basically my spirit animal. I mean, particularly, obviously, the few occasions where, there was a bit earlier on in the film, where it's just like, yes, that is a lot of cars. Yes, this is a big town. Because I have done exactly that on numerous occasions. In real life, and even doing commentary.
Oh.
You probably will remember me doing that a few times.
Yeah, you've got to put up with me, honestly.
Well, exactly.
Well, you got a roof over your head, kid. Now you just gotta get some training under your feet.
Yeah, still got another year to complete before you can go home.
No, it's funny, I thought you were talking about how long the rest of the commentary will take us for a second, though.
Oh, it certainly feels like it, because, to be fair, so Kiki's Delivery Service is 102 minutes long, which I suppose is not too long in comparison to most kids' films, which are about the 90-minute mark.
Uh-huh.
But I do wish it were about maybe 12 minutes shorter.
Kind of
I think it would do wonders for the pacing of the film.
Kind of like my issue with Laputa, then.
Basically, but I'm much more willing to watch Laputa because I don't know, I think because there's more adventure in it rather than the relatively mundane stuff that is going to occur throughout Kiki.
So who is that exactly? Is that the husband?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
But I can't remember what his name is. Annoyingly, this character list on Wikipedia is not in the correct order of who's who.
Right, in order of appearances and whatnot.
Yeah, because that would be helpful. Obviously, we've had Kiki's name mentioned. Obviously, we've had Gigi's name mentioned. I don't know whether we've had Asono's name mentioned, but thankfully, earlier on in the Wikipedia article, it says Kiki helped Asono, the kindly and heavily pregnant owner of the bakery. Therefore, I can go, okay, that's who that is.
Who's the cat? For the love of God, who is the cat?
I know who Tombo is because he's a relatively important character.
Is that the dude with his glasses we saw near the beginning?
That's the kid with the glasses, yes. And I have to say, I was kind of slightly excited earlier when I realised who voices him. Because I just went on the Wikipedia page and I was just like, I know that face. Why do I recognise that face? And it was only when I was looking through like the list of roles that he's been in that I saw Mrs. Doubtfire. And I was like, wait a minute. And it's just like, oh my god, it's him. So Matthew Lawrence plays the eldest of the Hillard children in Mrs. Doubtfire, Chris.
Okay.
And obviously Mrs. Doubtfire is an amazing film that if you haven't watched yet, you're clearly crazy. Tom.
What?
Silently judging you. Loudly, silently judging you.
Okay, I don't need to have not watched a film to be judged as crazy. Okay, that's why I take medication. Thank you. But I have an interesting trivia connection for you, Richie. Kirsten Dunst, as I've said before, voices Kiki. Can you give me a Mrs. Doubtfire connection with Kirsten Dunst?
Well, thankfully, since we did actually do a retake of the first 25 minutes of Kiki's delivery service, I can tell you that, is it by any chance Jumanji?
Yes, it was. Kirsten Dunst was in that. A very young Kirsten Dunst at the time, actually.
Oh, definitely. I mean, to be fair, she would have been quite young when this film came out, because... So, she was born 1982, and obviously Kiki's Delivery Service, at least I think the Western release was 1998. So she was in her teens at that point.
Probably the perfect age to voice the character, then.
Oh, definitely. I mean, so it was 1995 when Jumanji came out, so not that long between the two. And then that same year, in 1998, she was in Small Soldiers.
Oh, I love Small Soldiers.
Like, I know I've seen it, but I remember sort of snatches of it, but I don't actually remember most of it, which is bizarre. Probably should go and watch that again at some point.
Commentary.
Yes, I know, but, life as well, it kind of gets in the way a little bit.
Well, hey, with Patreon, at least I'll be able to play.
Well, yeah, but, I've still got a job.
I know.
Takes up time. And a book that I need to go back to editing, because I haven't touched that in freaking forever.
Have you finished writing that?
I finished writing it, I just need to edit it.
Oh, that's fine then. Yeah.
My plan, because obviously we're recording this way in advance, is to use NaNoWriMo, aka November, to edit it, finish freaking editing it, and then I have a year and a month to try and get it published. Because the dream was always get it published by the time I'm 25. So, time is running out on that dream, so I better get a move on.
Bless you, mate, bless you. Was the fact she was looking at ruby slippers in the window meant to be a reference?
I don't know, but perhaps.
Ooh. The second of the deliveries in Kiki's delivery service. I hope you're noting these down, guys. There's going to be a quiz at the end.
Yes, we get to the end and go... Kiki had 7 deliveries throughout the course of Kiki's delivery service. On 5 of these, she was successful. On 2 of these, she failed. How many deliveries did Kiki not fuck up?
Oh, God. I hope it doesn't end with her having to deliver the pregnant woman's babies. That'll be a bit traumatic. Oh. Kitty wants.
I'd say it's very, very good that the kitty cats look very similar. Like, just, in case anything goes wrong on this delivery, actually might come in handy. The cat looks like the cat.
Oh, you dirty foreshadowing bitch. Yes, she's flying. That's what witches do.
And once again, we also get to see Miyazaki's... I don't want to disappoint... Well, how do I want to phrase this?
Spit it out already.
I don't want to diminish his brilliance, but Miyazaki's sort of boner for flight and planes and aeronautical adventure.
It's a film about a witch flying. What do you expect?
I know, but it's just another instance of Miyazaki in flight. He's in love with it.
Look, okay, if there's a film called We Are the Cars, We Drive All Day, and it does nothing but have flight shots, I'll give you that criticism. As it is, I'm fine with a few more aerial views.
I mean, I'm totally fine with it. I mean, the pinnacle of Miyazaki's love and boner for flight and planes is The Wind Rises, because that's an entire film about making planes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, literally, that was the pinnacle of his plane adoration. But time and time again, throughout his films, you will see flight, and... I mean, to be fair, I can't blame him. Flight's amazing.
Kiki was then brutally taken down by the gang of geese.
Pretty sure it's a gaggle of geese.
Yeah, gang sounds cooler.
Yeah, it's definitely a gaggle.
My favourite joke is what do you call, oh no, I completely cocked that joke up. Basically, you see a group of crows and look and go, oh, look, it's attempted murder. But Tish. Oh, I'm full of puns today.
Yeah, Tom, I know I laughed at that, but I feel I should just give it the,
Thank you. Oh god, no!
Good, that's still working. Yeah, she kind of messed up.
So are we gonna have to give the recipient GG? Like, there must be blood for blood?
You might just have to wait and see a little bit.
I could have those for a nice omelette. No! Not my children!
Now, if only we had a Pikachu to zap these birds, and then we would be a lot better off.
Well, Totoro was in the last movie. I don't think we're going to see anything vaguely Pikachu-esque for a long time.
No, I don't think we will either. I mean, to be fair, we pretty much in relatively normal territory for most of the films until Pompoko. Because that's just a stupidly weird film. And then after Whisper of the Heart, we get into the slightly kookier, magical Ghibli that we all know and love.
I'm so glad he came out of retirement, because it's been a real treat watching these films so far.
Oh, God, yes. Miyazaki is one of the best grandfathers of animation out there. He's... I mean, obviously Walt Disney created a ridiculous behemoth and was part of some spectacular films, but I would say that Miyazaki blows him out of the water in terms of the quality of his films, because, like, most of the films that Walt Disney was a major part of, it's the really early Disney stuff, and I don't have as much of a connection to that as, like, the Renaissance and more recent Disney, whereas Miyazaki, over the course of his career, has gotten out some of the most brilliant films of all time. And there are very few, in the grand scheme of things, that I would say I have any strong dislike for. Obviously, Ponyo annoys me, but that's a very different kettle of fish.
Gigi sure is good at playing dead.
Well, I mean, you would hope so, wouldn't you? I have to say, this kid is reminding me minute by minute of Darla from Finding Nemo.
Huh. Remind me who that is?
Darla is the little girl with the braces and
yes.
Fishy! Why Fishy not moving? Fishy! Shake!
Yeah, you shaked it, you shook it to bitch, you stupid bitch.
So, yeah, he's reminding me very much of Darla. So we should probably, go find that toy cat, because I don't really want to leave Gigi there, because,
No.
Oh boy.
Hello, doll, where are you? Oh, if only I had a magic spell capable of bringing objects to me.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think Kiki has that type of magic. I think the whole idea of this time away is that the witches are meant to find out what their ability is, so to speak.
Uh-huh.
I don't know whether I mentioned this when we were way back at the start of the film. We did that start twice, so I've completely lost what I said in where.
We basically covered what the gist is, yeah.
So I think that the whole thing is that they're meant to find out what their ability is, because obviously Kiki's mother's into the alchemy and so on and so forth. So it is that whole thing of she's meant to try and find out what she's good at. So I don't think she has any other magical abilities just yet.
What are the odds that it's the same flock of birds that attacked her?
I know! It's both incredibly lucky and also incredibly unfortunate. Because she's not getting attacked, but also, yeah.
Kinda need that doll back before Gigi is, well, let's just say Gigi no re.
So, yes, this is Ursula. I don't know if she's given her as her name yet or whatever, but she will. And she's voiced by Janine Garofalo, whatever. I have to say, I don't really recognise her all that much.
She was in Seinfeld, wasn't she?
Potentially, she was Colette in Ratatouille.
Oh, yeah. No, she wasn't in Seinfeld. She was in fucking Dogma.
Probably.
Never watched Dogma?
Ah, no. No. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I haven't watched, unfortunately, which is kind of depressing. But it's just how these things roll.
Well, you can only do so much with your finite span on this blue globe of ours, mate, and you haven't watched as much TV, but you've read more books, so you've got me beat on that.
'Tis true. And there is TV that I have watched, it's just not that.
Play it cool, Gigi, play it cool.
You see, I was just thinking, I sort of recognise the voice of that kid, and I think I figured out who it is and why I recognise the voice. So the kid's called Ket, I think. Because we had Maki, who was Ket's aunt, and his mother, who were both voiced by Julia Fletcher, who was the instructor, narrator in the Animatrix The Second Renaissance, and also the voice of Elma and Unalesca in Final Fantasy X, and is also the voice of Orphan in Final Fantasy XIII.
Okay.
As well as Haruna in Naruto. But Ket, I'm pretty sure is the little lad, is voiced by Pamela Adlon.
Oh!
Who is the voice of Ashley Spinelli in Recess.
There you go.
And obviously now that I'm just like, Spinelli, I now hear the voice from the little lad. It's just like, yeah, that's definitely Spinelli.
It reminds me of that one bit when all the friends split up in Recess and she's like queen of the kindergartners. It's like, oh, Spinoody, Spinoody. Oh, well, they can't say Spinelli, they're only 5. What do you expect? What do you want, Spinoody? It's spaghetti. Ah. He's a good boy. See, we don't have any racial stereotyping in this film. Everyone can be good. Witches and dogs alike.
Well, of course. I mean, obviously dogs are always good, but obviously they don't have the best relationships with cats. So we're just very lucky that this one is just so chill. And also, he's called Jeff, which is brilliant.
I don't know, is he chill or just old?
He's probably old, but also he just seemed really relaxed and just totally okay with everything, and that's just pretty awesome.
Okay, so that's 2 successful deliveries now. Count 'em off, 2.
Yeah, we're only 46 minutes into the film. I'd say she needs to hurry up with this delivery service, otherwise it's never going to take off.
Well, it's night time now, so unless you want to go into a different branch of delivery... Aww.
Yeah, that's... Yeah, they made that. It's just really cute.
I was going to say, like, was that there when she first arrived, or did they do it to make her feel at home?
They did it to make her feel at home, and also, to advertise her delivery service, because, I mean, nobody's going to know that Kiki's delivery service is a thing if you don't advertise it.
Yeah, well, I guess her specialty, like her mother has alchemy, Kiki could have flight, just delivery.
I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head of where her training is going to be. She delivers things. That is the whole point of her existence. And that is what she will obviously go on to learn. And at this point, you can sort of see why I feel the film could probably be a lot shorter than it actually is, because you kind of figure out the whole purpose of Kiki very early on, because it's in the title.
Should have called it Kiki's question mark service, just to keep the audience guessing.
Yeah, it would have been quite a delight, wouldn't it? You would have gone in going, oh, what type of service is this? I don't know. And then you would have just been talking throughout the entire film going, what is this about?
Yeah, I don't really care for doing those sorts of commentaries anymore. Kind of grown out of it.
Yeah. Also, Kiki saying it's boring, and to be fair, she's finding it boring. I'm just going to go on Twitter.
Wait, no, don't. We've got a commentary to record, Richie. Don't leave me.
It's fine. Nothing's happening. She's just chilling out. So I'm totally looking at Twitter.
Fine, I will keep an eye on things then. Not today, Kiki, not today.
I know this feeling so well, because obviously I haven't worked at a cinema on the concession stand. That's basically most of the day. You sort of stood there going, can someone, just come? And if there's multiple of you on, and it's not very busy, then you sort of end up potentially fighting each other to get the customers because you're just like, it's something to do.
I need social stimulation.
So yeah, that was interesting because it was either serve customers or clean. And generally cleaning you can only do so much. I mean, there were times when it's just like, I can't be bothered to deal with people today, so I'm just going to do everything but serve customers if I can help it. But yeah, retail in general just gets really, really, really dull because you spend a lot of time waiting around for people to come to you when they aren't necessarily going to, and it's just like, oh, for God's sake.
Delivery number 3, coming right up.
Delivery number 3 that she's going to have trouble delivering because that thing's frickin' heavy.
Well, let's hope the the broom don't snap in half.
Fingers crossed, eh? And also I have to say, Tombo is very presumptive.
Yeah, but he's a snappy dresser. Like, first he was wearing that striped shirt, now he's rocking it Vegeta pink style. Just rock the witch get up. Like, they liked that.
Exactly.
That's how Tombo first saw you.
Exactly, like he's got a proper crush on the witchiness of her.
It's a very charming movie.
I mean, it is charming. I mean, basically, all of Ghibli is charming, bar a couple of films.
Also, I like how she's being, like, weighed down by the package.
I mean, she bloody would be. That thing's frickin' heavy. To be fair, I think it's a miracle that she was able to lift the damn thing. But also, she really needed to learn. She needs to learn a bit about manual handling because that's not how you lift a package.
GG, you gotta help with this? I don't have opposable thumbs, Kiki. You're on your own.
When you're dealing with packages that are heavy like that, you've got to kind of go with your... bend your knees, grab it from underneath, keep it as close to your centre of gravity as possible and carry it like that. Otherwise, you're going to do your back in. See, I listened at my health and safety training. Can you tell?
There you go, mate. Oh, look at this mansion.
Yeah, it's pretty snazzy.
Knock knock, Kiki's delivery service. Now, who's she voiced by?
I'm not sure.
Because it didn't sound like Tress McNeil.
That one's, I don't think, Tress McNeil only voices Osono in this film. I don't know.
It's fine, we'll just call her Pink Lady for now.
I don't know whether this is Madam and Barca. Oh, we might get a name here. Or not, but I think it might be Madam, purely because I'm pretty sure that this might be Debbie Reynolds. Because she's definitely in the cast. Yes, this will indeed be Debbie Reynolds, and the other elderly lady would be Barca, who is voiced by Edie McClurg.
That name rings a bell, but I'm not sure, like, what other thing she's been in. Yeah, you were right, by the way.
Yes, brilliant. So she is the voice of Carlotta in The Little Mermaid. Don't know who that is in The Little Mermaid, but oh well. Trying to see. Oh, she's the voice of Gerda in Frozen. Mary in Wreck-It Ralph.
Okay.
She's the voice of Minnie in Cars. She's Grace in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. She's Helen Shires in Carrie. She was also in Sabrina the Teenage Witch for one episode as Mama.
Oh.
So yeah, she's been in quite a lot of things.
Debbie Reynolds, of course, sadly no longer with us, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, she passed away very soon after the death of Carrie Fisher, her daughter. That was a very tragic period.
Literally died of heartbreak, which is why I kind of cringed when her character said, "This thing, much like me, has seen better days."
Yes, but obviously that's film.
It's kind of like Liam Neeson in Batman Begins. He said he had a beautiful wife who was taken from him.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say that's very similar to if you were... Like, I think I struggled to watch the end of Aladdin now, because obviously Robin Williams passed away.
Uh-huh.
And the last bits with Genie in that film, under the whole connection to obviously what happened to Robin Williams, is just heartbreaking.
Genie, you're free.
Yeah, and then it was the same with Mrs. Doubtfire. Like, the end of Mrs. Doubtfire, because I think I watched it actually not long after he passed away.
Yeah, I did the same with Hook, yeah.
Yeah, the final kind of speech that his character gives is just like, it was just like, oh god, my heart. Oh, I don't think I can quite take this. And like, I don't really get all that sad about celebrity deaths, because it's just like, well, I didn't ever actually know them.
I understand, yeah.
But obviously it's incredibly sad. But yeah, that one hit quite a bit, I think.
I get deflated a lot when it's someone who was especially a big part of my life, as shallow as it may be just from like watching them on TV and film and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, it's because of that whole thing of certain people form a very big part of your childhood or a period of your life.
Yeah.
And as such, it's when they're suddenly not there anymore, even if you've never met them, it feels like something has just vanished, because you connect them with that period in your life. And so it's just that little bit of magic and sparkle that just sort of dies with them, and that's just heartbreaking.
I love Phil Hartman in this. He's another one who's passed on. Stop fucking dying!
Poor Phil Hartman.
Oh my god.
I
Oh.
never really knew much about him, but his passing's probably the most awful.
Yeah, while we're on the subject, fuck Andy Dick. The end.
I'm incredibly confused, but...
Well, he was joking about Phil Hartman's death pretty much after the fact, and someone kicked the shit out of him. I think it was Jay Sherman, or whatever his name is. He's the dude who plays the critic on, well, The Critic, and also guest starred on The Simpsons. I think it was Andy Dick who introduced Phil Hartman's wife to drugs.
Yeah, he's a dick then.
Yeah, just for clarification's sake, Phil Hartman's wife went a bit doolally, ended up murdering Phil Hartman, and then offed herself. The end. Thanks for watching Kiki's Delivery Service.
Yeah.
God, the whole, past 5 minutes was just despair, depression.
I know, and we're only an hour into the film.
Past the halfway mark now. You can stop bitching.
Yes, we get to meet Madam's granddaughter, who is obviously a complete bitch.
What a cunt! Like, if my grandma, God rest her soul, was still alive and made me a delicious baked treat, I would fucking sit down and eat everything until every scrap was gone. That's probably why I'm so fucking fat right now.
Yeah, it's just like... There may be times where you don't have necessarily the heart to tell them, oh, well, I don't quite like that, I'm sorry. But you still try and accept it graciously, at least. And don't let them know that you perhaps didn't want to have that thing.
This conflict I'm fine with, although, yeah, you were right, he was a bit presumptuous.
Yes. Yeah, this type of conflict, totally okay. Like, this is perfectly decent in terms of the overarching narrative of the film. It fits. But what's going to occur sort of just jumps the shark a little bit.
Yeah, I understand. Well, that was certainly a day for Kiki. Jeez.
I know. Cold and wet and miserable because it's been raining and she just had to deal with a really shitty customer. I mean, to be fair, she's 13. You've got to have very thick skin to deal with assholes like that when you are doing a public service of any description, whether that be retail, waiting tables, etc. Yeah, so you have to have very thick skin. So a 13-year-old who's never had to deal with that, oh, she's not going to take it well, because that would feel like a personal slight.
I like when animals with, humanized personalities suddenly revert back to being very animalistic. That was a very cat-like thing to do.
Well, I mean, Gigi's still a cat. He's just a cat who can talk.
Well, that's what you get for flying in the rain, Miss Doesn't Take an Umbrella.
Exactly, and also doesn't take a frickin' coat.
Nice. Yes, basically. I just noticed the string connecting the back.
Yeah, that's quite a nice touch. because she's not that type of witch.
Yeah.
God, Tomba's an idiot.
Yeah, Tomba is, he's not exactly being a fuckboy, he's just being a bit dense, really.
Yeah, I think, to be fair, I mean, he seems like a nice enough lad. He just, it's just like, just maybe rein it in a little bit. You're going just a wee bit too quickly there. Like, you've only just met her. I mean, I know people have gone faster in terms of their relationship. Some people meet, fall in love, and get married the next day.
Uh-huh.
But maybe just slow down, just a teeny weeny bit, because she might get slightly freaked out. Because, I mean, I'm sure quite a lot of people would, because, yeah, just being there a lot, all the time, going, please, please, please go out with me.
Speaking of,
yes, I think Gigi's got a little crush, so to speak, on the lovely, lovely cat over the road.
Aww.
So yes, this is exactly what the film needed. Cat flirting.
Hard smash cut to those two fucking on top of the wall.
Oh, please don't speak about cats getting it on, because you're just making me think back to, like, sex ed at school, which taught sex ed via cats, animated cats getting
What
it on.
the fuck, Richie? Our school did the proper thing, you know?
No, there was like a video which sort of explained it with two cats, and it was weird. Obviously, we learned like the proper sex ed stuff as well, but still, it's just like,
Can she not talk human then, the other cat? That's gonna be a bit awkward.
It's because she's not a witch's cat, she's a cat.
Well, at least Gigi can speak regular cat, or so I would assume.
Well, yeah, because he's a cat. He can talk human, but he can also talk cat.
Nice touch of her not taking her broom for this one. Maybe that's just a little psychological thing, like she doesn't want to get sick again so soon.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he'd probably be a little bit scarred after the previous night.
Also, it's just a nice day, just go for a stroll.
Well, also that, yes, but also Miyazaki, I don't think we needed Marilyn Monroe Kiki. I
have nothing to add to that. I mean, I basically agree. You're the reason I'm sick!
Arasano. Setting Kiki up.
So, Tembo Kapari, is that his second name?
Tombo Kapari or Kapuri or whatever, yes.
Yeah, he seems like a nice enough lad. He wasn't all huffy and like, I expected you to be here, even though we didn't agree that I'd be here and you'd be fine with that.
Yeah, I think it's excitement more than anything. He's just a very excitable kid.
Ford. What if they got a kickback from that because they put an actual licensed name in the film?
I don't know, but they might have done.
This is either going to end one or two ways. Well, not well.
Well, as long as they don't die, I think we can probably say this went well.
Yeah. Any crash you can walk away from, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
We're slowly ascending, slowly ascending. You're basically just riding a bike normally at this point.
Riding a bike normally and struggling until he goes downhill because he hasn't got enough strength to carry him and another person.
I wonder, can Kiki bewitch the bike?
Honestly, I don't know. They'd never really go into much detail about how her magic works. It's just sort of a thing. It is mostly only associated with her broom. So, honestly, I don't know if she, I would like to say, yes, of course she can bewitch the machine, but then equally, God knows.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's not really needed because it is a very simple, basic film.
Yeah, but I do feel, well, I don't know. We've still got, the final 30-ish minutes.
Look at you, counting down the time until you're free.
Yeah. But yeah, I can't really remember whether the rest of the film goes in any way as to how her magic works. I know a certain situation that is going to occur, but I can't remember whether it is anything to do with her actually being able to use magic or not.
Oh, this is wacky.
Of course, we need wacky hijinks at this point, and as long as they're not dead, this went well, as I said.
I'll count that as well. Check it off. Just my pride that's bruised. I think that's the first time she's laughed since she's got here.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, maybe turn it down a bit. It wasn't that funny. Oh, I'm liking the whole fortified, walls thing.
It's quite a nice touch.
Slowly getting away.
Well, no, it's more slowly coming down to land. It's just, where's it going to land? Who knows?
So how many deliveries has she made now? I kind of lost track when we met the old ladies.
So there was the dummy. There was the kitty cat.
The kitty cat.
There was the massive fat package.
Free.
There was the pot pie. And then there was the fake package for Tombo.
Okay, if we count that last one.
I think we're on 5.
Yeah. Oh, that's a lesson that hits close to home.
Yeah. You see, this is why, in my head, I do have a finite time scale for my YouTube channel, which may or may not come as a surprise to some people. But yeah, because it's just one of those things of when you start doing something as a hobby, as a sort of more job-like thing, it can frequently become much less enjoyable because suddenly the pressure is put on you to do it, and you don't necessarily have as much fun with it anymore because you're sort of forcing yourself to do it rather than just doing it purely for the enjoyment. You can still have fun while you're doing it, you can still manage it perfectly and be able to enjoy doing your job, and that's the best you can possibly hope for. But it certainly is a situation that can occur.
I know, I've always kept my enjoyment of the LP thing. It's been hard at times, don't get me wrong, but I can still see myself doing this for at least a couple of years.
Oh, that's totally fair.
And I hope I have you along for the ride, Rich.
I'm sure you can persuade me.
With fat stacks of coins, because fucking notes are out of the equation.
Yeah. But also, you know, like, I don't have that many friends.
Aww.
So this is sort of like my hanging out time as well, so...
I love just hanging out and doing this stuff for you. That's why I've survived doing LPs for so long, because I genuinely enjoy it. And I wouldn't work with someone who I didn't enjoy the company of. Let's put it that way.
Well, thank God for that, because I thought that you really were annoyed with me earlier.
I was a little bit earlier, but, you know, we all get cranky from time to time. You were tired today. God, this is just the fucking blog power hour part of the commentary, and Kiki is having emotions right now.
You see, this is why I told you that Kiki sort of sits in that middle tier Ghibli for me, because it's got stuff going on, but I'd rather be doing something else. And that's maybe being a bit too harsh to the film, but... yeah, just sort of ends up being a bit forgettable in my mind. And we're just about to be really depressing for like the next 10 minutes or so.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Oh. Well, to be fair, you're a human with the ability to fly.
And also, one of his friends was Madam's granddaughter, who's a frickin' bitch.
Cunt!
So, yeah. So she can just, you know, jog on. And, yeah, you don't need that shit, Kiki. You are better than that.
Selling the loneliest angle pretty well in this part of the film, I gotta say.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically the point of this bit of the film, is that she's getting increasingly isolated, and yeah, it's very depressing.
That's not Gigi, is it?
No, that is Gigi.
Oh. Well, you had airtime for a second there. Oh no. Is she losing her witch powers?
Well, yeah, she is sort of losing her ability to fly. And yeah, that's not good.
I wonder if it's tied to her emotions like it was in Steven Universe. Rebecca Sugar has taken inspiration from like anime and whatnot before.
I mean, I would say so, probably, because obviously Kiki was beginning to get quite depressed and feel very vulnerable and isolated. And so it sort of does hamper her ability somewhat. We're gonna get a slightly different explanation
Oh.
for... Yeah, she kind of broke it. We are going to get another explanation for what Kiki is going through. But I don't necessarily know whether it's the most accurate of analogies.
Okay.
But it's certainly a thing.
Oh. Suddenly Zeppelin.
Yeah. Suddenly Zeppelin. Flying beside you.
Is that the English flag on there?
Can't quite see. I've got Kiki's delivery service. Oh yes, it is actually. It's the English flag. Because that's St. George's Cross. Although no, it's the wrong way round. God damn it, it's not the English flag.
Sorry,
Because
forgot.
the English... Yeah, the... Actually, no, is it? Give me a second. It's certainly, obviously, inspired by it. Yeah, because the English flag is St. George's Cross, which is obviously centred.
Yeah.
Whereas that was diagonal. But if you look at, obviously, the flag of the United Kingdom, you do have that kind of crossed flag.
Yeah. Well, we're quibbling now, so it's fine.
It's actually the flag of the state of Alabama.
Okay.
Apparently, it's a crimson cross of St. Andrew on a field of white.
Okay. Well, this is...
And it could also be called...
This has been Flags
Saint
with Richie.
Patrick's Saltire.
Thank you. You gotta know when to end, Richie.
Yeah, so it's used to represent the island...
Oh,
The island of Ireland. So,
you're
yes.
killing me.
It's what I do. It's payback.
Thank you. Fair dues. The debt has been paid. I wonder if when she has a friend, like, nearby, or just some social interaction, she'll actually start getting her powers back.
Doesn't quite work like that. Just like, depression in general. You can have friends. They can be around, they can make you feel happy whilst they're there, but that doesn't necessarily cut to the core of the matter and fix issues.
Ooh. Also hits close to home.
Yeah.
Meh.
Yeah, Gigi's reaction's very, very cat-like. He's just like, nah, I'm a bit on the side, thanks. I'm gonna stay here and have a little bit of fun, thank you very much.
Well, it's interesting. Kiki has become even more of an outsider. Slowly getting weaned off that now, but Gigi's gone full native. Like, he's completely cat-like now.
Pretty much, yes.
Even the buses are comfy. Even the buses are comfy!
Well, as long as they wipe the thing down, that's fine.
Hmm.
Because buses can be pretty grotty.
I too love fruit. That's weird, because it seemed like a fruit pastel container, except it was bubblegum.
Yeah. It would have been more awesome if it was a fruit pastel container, because fruit pastels are amazing.
What about chocolate raisins at this time of year, honestly?
Oh no. Oh, definitely not.
Not fun?
Just murder raisins. Can't stand them, they're disgusting.
Think she's getting her chill back. This should probably lead to good things. I wasn't on the road, you cunt!
Yeah, that's making me think of when I was coming home earlier and this stupid idiot nearly pulled out on me, and I had to brake really hard because they didn't look frickin' right and decided they were about to pull out.
Mm-hmm.
There are some nut jobs on the road.
Such a thing called right of way, assholes.
I know. I mean, I was just out for a walk the other day on my lunch break, and yeah, this woman was just crossing the road. It's maybe a little bit slow in crossing, and yeah, this car just zoomed by, nearly rammed her over because she didn't get off the road quick enough.
Well, teach you.
There were some proper assholes on the road out there.
Teach you for being a person, living your life. We forgive you, car. Wow.
Yes, it's pretty good drawing. Painting. Thing.
There you go. Maybe all she needed was inspiration, a muse.
Well, it would certainly help. Yeah, no, I completely agree. That face is really weird.
Kind of rude to paint Kiki as a horse, I'm not gonna lie.
To be fair, I think Ursula got quite a few of the proportions wrong in some of these things. I mean, have you seen some of those crows?
I know,
They're, like,
yeah.
warped beyond all belief.
Oh, I'm such a silly sausage sometimes.
So yeah, here we go. This is the analogy that I was talking about. Eston is basically saying that what Kiki's suffering is a form of artist's block.
Okay.
Or writer's block, as is probably the more common version. Sometimes, yeah, you think so hard about what you want to do, and you just can't get past it. I know I've suffered writer's block before. We just sat down and just gone, I have literally no idea what to write. There's just a blank paper in front of me, and as much as I want to write something down, just nothing's coming.
Okay, well...
Really frustrating.
Hang on 1 second. This isn't a case of writer's or artist's block. Flying should be as innate to a witch as breathing. And, well, with age and experience, obviously. It's not something that should randomly disappear.
Yeah, and you see, this is why I said earlier on that the analogy isn't quite accurate, because flying a broom you would think is very much something like learning how to ride a bike or learning to drive. It's a skill that you pick up, and as long as you keep it up, you just don't forget how to do it.
Just talking to
and
Gigi...
even if you haven't done it...
is that affected by this whole block as well?
I would assume so, because there seems to be they seem to be going with this artist, like, witch's abilities block angle, and so because she's having that block, she can't understand Gigi because that's part of her witch's abilities block.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't. It doesn't sit quite right with me as a explanation for what's going on. Because, yeah, it don't sort of just lose those abilities unless you have some sort of particular mental trauma, i.e. like a blow to the head, i.e. you get a bit of amnesia, therefore you lose the ability, or something drains your power, or whatever. A bit of depression makes maybe a little bit more sense than this whole, are you just struggling because you're trying too hard? And I think that probably would have been a slightly more accurate angle to take with this narrative, but then it might have been a little bit too serious for the film overall.
I think what they were going for is fine, it's just I think the analogy needed a bit of a rewrite.
Yes. I mean, that's quite often the case with a lot of analogies. Like, sometimes they are presented and someone thought, yes, this is a brilliant idea, but then they don't actually follow the analogy through to its fullest conclusion. And that's generally the point at which a lot of things begin to fall apart.
This'll be delivery number 6.
Definitely if, she gets there and actually does the delivery.
Well, given there's about 12 minutes left, I'm going to hazard a guess and say yes. Yes, she will get her powers back, and Kiki's delivery service will go on.
Yes, I mean, you would hope so, from a film called Kiki's Delivery Service, that by the end of it, Kiki's Delivery Service would actually be, and still be, a thing.
I swear to God, if we get to Ocean Waves and there's no Ocean Waves, this Ghiblithon is fucking cancelled.
Well, I mean, to be fair, at least, when we have, Porco Rosso definitely has Porco Rosso in it. House Moving Castle definitely has House Moving Castle.
I know.
So, Ocean Waves, pretty sure it does have some Ocean Waves at some point.
Okay, Rich, I was making a silly. I was having a garble, a laugh.
I know, and I was just trying to pad some time.
Okay.
Until the film's climax occurs.
I appreciate the honesty, mate. Bless you. Aww.
Yeah, this is just super cute.
Well, it's also a tad depressing.
Yeah, it is a little bit.
Because why would you need to ask when her next birthday is? It's the same day every year.
But, yes, surprise! Here comes the climax of the film!
Oh. Wind? Wind is the climax?
Yeah, it's just like... This is why I say that Kiki's climax comes out of even more of nowhere than Totoro's, because Totoro's build up to May going off to the hospital to try and deliver the corn to their mother. Whereas in Kiki here, you've been sort of almost winding your way to a little bit of a quiet finale, and then all of a sudden, woo, we've got awful winds. Ooh, people might die. It's just like, whoa, just slight emotional whiplash.
Look at the fucking Zeppelin, it was almost vertical there.
You see, it's trying to Titanic.
Can't believe we had to go there.
Well, I mean, we could have gone to stranger places. Well, I mean, I have to say, she's maybe being a little bit presumptive in calling him her friend, because, they've hung out, once, and she walked away really angrily because his mates are assholes, so wouldn't exactly call him her friend. But, there we go.
Well, We needed a climax for the film, so I guess this is what we're doing now.
And this is why it's just a bit like, just what is going on? Why did we need this?
I mean, I agree, but also at the same time, I'm laughing because of how silly and contrived it is.
Oh, it's ridiculous and it's hilarious.
Why did you grab on in the first place?
And I know. I suppose for one thing, it does turn the whole damsel in distress trope on its head.
Yeah, that's cool.
Which is nice, but yeah, why was anybody letting a 13-year-old lad try and help pull a zeppelin down to the ground and keep it steady? Like, who thought that was a good idea?
Oh no, that poor Paul? Question mark?
Yeah. I like how they're just like...
I'm trying to grasp at stakes here. Where are they? Who are they? When will they?
What? And also... Oh my god. Once again, Kiki not understanding how these things work, but thankfully she's bumped into someone who has a broom.
Oh. Really? She's going to use a giant's sweeping brush? Alright, I'm just going with it. Believe in the heart of the cards.
I believe
I
can
fly. Believe I can touch the sky. Strange girl found squatting in the middle of the street. Local boy dead from fall. She going fucking Super Saiyan right now?
Basically, yes.
This is a cool scene, I'm not gonna lie.
Yes, it's cool because, you know, she's got her witch's powers back. Great! Brilliant!
Boing!
Woo! Let's go save Tombo.
I do like how the soundtrack kind of like whirred into gear there. That was pretty neat.
Definitely.
Excuse me, coming through.
So, something I hadn't noticed is sort of the bookend of the film in a way. Obviously, the first time she comes to this place, she ends up rushing through the city crazily on her flight.
Uh-huh.
The climax, she does exactly the same thing. It's just that the stakes and situation are very different.
Smash right into this! It's gonna be fun! Well, guess they foreshadowed this as well.
And yeah, he's pretty screwed, isn't he?
Oh my god, what a spectacle.
I know! It once again, it just comes out of nowhere.
Oh, the humanity. So, Kiki, how are you going to save the people in the Zeppelin, huh?
I can't remember whether the film actually, you know, goes into detail of how that's going to work.
Oh, I think they're fine.
Oh yeah, they've managed to balance out there. It's a bird! It's a plane!
No, it's just
No!
that nerd hanging from a rope. Wait, what? When did those two meet?
There was the kid with the toy.
I know, but, like, they barely said a word to each other.
I know. It's ridiculous.
Like, I'm seriously not calling that a plot hole or anything, I just find it weird.
That's basically the entire climax of Kiki's Delivery Service in a nutshell. It's a bit weird and a bit out of nowhere.
Maybe if we shout, we can distract her and Tombo will fall to his death. Whee! Deal! Okay, it's done. It was very silent and muted rescue, but it was done.
Success! Yay! Let's celebrate.
Hey guys, the Zeppelin, still up there.
Yeah, everyone's still in the cockpit of the Zeppelin. They also need rescuing, you know?
I love that guy.
Yes, best character in the film, clearly.
I think we're gonna have another delivery on our hands. Aw, everything worked out fine.
Exactly. And yes, this is the end of Kiki's Delivery Service, as you can tell by the fact that the visual style changed ever so slightly as we moved into this ending with the credits.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, Rich, you know what time it is. Give me your mini review and give me your letter grade.
It's alright. Like, Kiki's Delivery Service is a decent film, certainly enjoyable, but it sort of feels like nothing much really happens, and then the ending just sort of comes out of nowhere and isn't the most satisfying thing in the world. So on the whole, I'd probably give it a C, as you probably guessed from the beginning. It's a C. Yeah, I wish I enjoyed it more, but I just don't.
Love the concept, like, of a witch going off to start a delivery service and whatnot. It's very cute. The film itself is very charming. I like Kiki as a character. I feel she was more enjoyable than the sisters in Totoro, even though they were fine, well written, believable, like I mentioned at the end of that commentary. I agree about the climax, but the film overall I found to be more engaging than Totoro, which really wasn't about anything much. Like, it was just about meeting a spirit, and the mum was in hospital. So, I am going to give this a B-. It's not good enough to be a B+, nor is it good enough to be that high above Totoro. But I enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to the next film, which is, if you allow me to look at my list, Only Yesterday.
Yes, it's definitely going to be an interesting one.
Interesting. Okay, guys, thank you for listening to our commentary on Kiki's Delivery Service. Come back tomorrow for another Ghiblithon commentary. Goodbye.